It's a contentious topic, but I absolutely do believe that Yugi is the superior duelist to Atem. Now some of y'all are probably scratching your heads, thinking, didn't he already beat Atem at the end of Duel Monsters? And some of y'all might be on the side of Atem still being above Yugi, but I'm not. First off, Yugi did take a backseat to Atem when they dueled, as Atem was the one who would take over the body when the time would come, but he wasn't dueling alone. It was their shared and combined knowledge and ability that was a factor in many of their matches, also meaning that they were learning and growing alongside one another. I think the main thing in terms of an advantage we've seen from Atem throughout the series would be sheer confidence and resistance to the power of shadows. Confidence is always something that Yugi lacked, obviously, and that he had to gain during his time with Atem, and it's just something that would affect his all-around character and how he might play. The resistance to the shadows comes in specifically when talking about shadow games. A good example would be the match against Pegasus. Even though Yugi and Atem were essentially playing a max difficulty tag duel, meaning they had to bounce off of and trust each other's plays, showing even then that Yugi's dueling skills and strategic mind could hang with the pharaoh. Of course, his main downfall came in the form of the toll the shadow game took on him. The same with Dark Side of Dimensions. Atem appearing didn't mean Yugi couldn't duel without him. Certainly not, as he did prior to facing off with the Ring Spirit, beat Aigami and seemingly Kaiba. I say seemingly because the duel was interrupted, and some believe Kaiba's smirk at the end was because he had a card that could counter Yugi, but I think it's just because he was happy to find how confident Yugi truly was. Also, this moment really made me want to see more Yugi and Kaiba interactions post Dark Side of Dimensions. But anyway, the Ring Spirit was overwhelming Yugi with shadow power, and Yugi with no puzzle had no defenses. As for their actual duel, while I do believe everyone would applaud Yugi's win and give him the credit he deserves as having pulled off a legitimate win, some might say that Atem had more overall skill, and that Yugi was in large part able to win because of the knowledge and instinct regarding the pharaoh. A fallacy that falls apart very quickly when you remember that Atem has the exact same advantage, meaning it evens out. They both make analyses and predictions based on how well they know each other. That's pretty much Yugi's only advantage, and it gets cancelled out. The only other thing you can try to give to Yugi is that he has greater knowledge of the cards the pharaoh is using versus what Atem knows about Yugi's deck. That being said, it wouldn't really be a detractor if we were talking about any other character, so it shouldn't be here. Then we get to the pharaoh's advantages. First off, he had all 3 Egyptian god cards and was even able to summon them all to the field at once. Now obviously, Atem is a very skilled duelist, and this feat really showed that off. The Egyptian god cards were essentially just the strongest cards in the anime. They were literally called that multiple times. They had to become a non-factor in Atem's deck during the Waking the Dragons arc. All the effects and the protections, they were just built different, literally exuding power. And Yugi beat all 3 in one fell swoop. Again, one of the most skilled duelists in this show, and honestly, probably all the series, Atem was controlling them, going all out, and Yugi beat them. In the anime events when Kaiba saw this, it literally made him go from hating on Yugi and saying he couldn't duel his way out of a paper bag, to acknowledging him as the king of games. Defeating those 3 at just about the same time is one of the greatest feats in the entire show. And then, Atem's biggest advantage, literally being able to steer fate. This coming in the form of him being able to will whatever card he wants to draw to the top of the deck. This is absolutely insane, as it takes out a large factor of luck in the form of hoping for a good draw, as whatever he draws is guaranteed exactly what he wants. This means Atem was at peak performance this match. Part of the game is the luck of the draw, but if you're able to completely cut that aspect of chance out of it, then it means you're essentially able to create your ideal plays barring your opponent's interference. The fact that he was at such peak performance is a large reason that I believe Yugi sits comfortably above Atem. Not to say Yugi's like super far above him or anything, but that he definitely has that claim to the title of King of Games. The fact that he could beat Atem when he was getting exactly the cards he wanted leads me to believe that if they played multiple times, he'd probably be the majority winner. Though of course there is still that luck of the draw that Yugi has to deal with, so I can definitely see possibilities of Atem taking a win. Though that's just a regular duel. But if it was like 10 ceremony duels to free the pharaoh, I think there's even less of a chance of Yugi losing.